Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live interview. My name is Sue Ross, and I'm Director of Admissions for Tulane University School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. And today's guest is Mallory Wilson, one of our current students. Mallory, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your program and where you're from?
Hi, everybody. My name is Mallory Wilson. I'm a second-year student in the Tropical Medicine Department. I'll be graduating this May. I'm originally from Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Excellent. Okay, and was Tulane your first choice out of all the schools you get to pick from for grad programs? Was Tulane your first choice?
So being from Wyoming, we don't have a lot of graduate schools, and especially not a lot of tropical or global health options. And so I started trying to get into different opportunities in my undergraduate degree. And so during my time doing that, I was really fortunate enough to go abroad. And every time I went abroad, I ran into someone who either had a colleague at Tulane or knew someone at Tulane, had seen some research done by Tulane. So Tulane was a consistent name that came up in the, the world of global health. So it was always my first choice. There's a slogan they always say here that Tulane is global health, and I would definitely agree. The name Tulane has really opened up doors. It's made connections, networking. The reputation Tulane has really made it very attractive to me. And since coming here, I can definitely say it was the right choice.
Well, thank you for saying that, because when I recruit for prospective students, I do tell them about Tulane being a place for global health. And to have you say that and back that up is great to hear. Well, part of everyone's curriculum here at Tulane is to complete a practicum, a practical experience. It's usually towards the end of your coursework where you go into the field and you put into practice the skills that you've acquired here when you're on campus. So can you tell us about your practicum and how did you select that?
So when I came to Tulane, I was really fortunate to, right off the bat, get some feedback for how to do my practicum that in a way that would best fit what I wanted to do as a career. So I really focused on an area that was French-speaking, as well as an area that had a lot of the tropical components that I was going to be studying, a lot of the tropical diseases. And so I ended up last summer working on the southern peninsula of Haiti, in a surgical center, and I helped build a very large surgical database that collected all patient info, case info, procedures, mortality, complications, because that was something that had previously not really been done, not just at that hospital, but really very much in Haiti. And so we were able to assess access to not just medical care, but also access to surgical care, which is something that really goes unnoticed or unreported or things like that. So that was a great experience. I got to work in surgery, which is my goal. I got to see surgery in a tropical setting. I got to work with data and research and practice my French and Creole.
Now, during part of that process, did you used mapping, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay, and was part of the mapping with the program. When I was in my graduate program, I took a course called ArcGIS, Geographical Information System, which helped with mapping. So did you use ArcGIS for some of this research?
Yes, actually, we've been fortunate enough to take the database and all of the data I collected and produce quite a few abstracts and publications. But the first big one we did was a big geospatial mapping study, and we did use GIS. So we were able to look at where our surgical patients were coming from on the southern peninsula as well as the entire country, but we were also able to identify where they were not coming from or where we were not getting surgical patients in our hospital.
So I found that interesting then, that you found also a group or pocket of the geographical area that were not using the system. So can you tell me what did you identify about that? Why maybe they were not using the system?
So it's almost a year later and I still work with this hospital, but it's still a question we're kind of addressing there are many, many things that go into access to medical care, especially in the developing world, and specifically access to surgical care. So it is something, we saw everything from looking at, maybe there was not enough knowledge of our programs. There wasn't a community health worker in a certain area that knew of the surgical center. People maybe didn't know that we provided essentially free care. That's a big thing. Everything from road being out or lack of transportation. So there's a lot of things, and the most important thing we took away is there are no surgical indicators for the entire country. So we're working on expanding that. So we're not looking just at our little pockets and the pockets we can't reach, but we're looking and working with some of the other very large hospitals, General Hospital, Partners in Health in the northern region, and looking at how to expand it and really focus on identifying where we can improve the access.
So it's interesting that it shows access to care could come from many different sources, even lack of infrastructure in some of the areas in Haiti.
Yes, it's very easy to get kind of wrapped up in the clinical side, especially with surgery. But what I found here at Tulane is a lot of our classes really incorporate not just the disease profiles, but the overall demographics and things like that, and how they influence diseases, the barriers you're going to run into when you're trying to address health emergencies and things like that. So it was. I definitely felt prepared to kind of understand what we were going to find.
Okay. And from this research, you were able to put together a presentation, correct?
Yes. So we have now published 4 abstracts. We have another one hopefully in the works. But we've been able to send researchers, part of our small team, to many different international conferences, whether they're surgical conferences, global health conferences, and hopefully we're going to have one for the National Tropical Medicine Conference, which is in New Orleans in November. But I have been a part of all of that and been able to help construct data, abstracts, writing, things like that. And so it's been pretty cool.
That is exciting. I'll look forward to that. Part of our school, you have the opportunities to help defray cost of student loans by becoming a graduate assistant worker, a teaching assistant, or a research assistant. Mm-hmm. So I believe you're working as a research assistant, and can you tell us how that's paid and if that's helping with you defray your cost of loans?
Yes. So when I got to Tulane, I immediately started looking for a little bit of a part-time job, and I quickly realized that it's pretty hard to find a job outside of the university that's going to understand that you are a student. So I was able to find a research assistant position here at Tulane Hospital, which is right next to the School of Public Health. And so I work on 15 or so different clinical trials for the Tulane University Hospital Abdominal Transplant Surgery Department. Mm-hmm. So that's really great, mainly because they understand that no matter what, I'm a student first. So I get to work around my class schedule and my exam schedule. And most of my friends and peers here at Tulane, a lot of them have very similar positions, and it's also very flexible. So that's one of the best things I found when I first got down here. Was it a way to work, but also stay focused on school.
Great. And how does the pay work? Is it a stipend, or are you paid an hourly wage?
I am paid, we're paid hourly. So, and they actually limit a little bit how much you can work because they really do want you to focus on school.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay. Did you find that the skills that the applied skill that you've acquired during your coursework here helped you prepare for this job and for your research?
Yes. If anything, I think the 3 components of my time here at Tulane, the practicum, the classes, and my research assistantship have all kind of helped each other. It's my undergraduate studies, I felt like a lot of it was learning something in the classroom and then experiencing it in the field, right. Where I think a big part of graduate school is going back and forth, being able to take your experiences in the field and also contribute them to your coursework and vice versa. So I think, learning everything from the clinical research at my job, I was able to use when I built up databases and did, had to practice good clinical components with patients in confidential settings in Haiti, and learning the tropical diseases and the things like that. So I think all three have really enhanced one another.
Excellent. Well, Facebook friends, do you know that besides Mallory's coursework and her busy schedule with research and working in Practicum, she is also a founding member of one of our student organizations. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So this is an organization that I actually founded and was a part of in my undergraduate degree. And so when I came to Tulane, I was really excited to build it up here as well. And it's called Tulane END 7, END 7. And it focuses on raising awareness and funds and pretty much just spreading the word in the hopes of influencing advocacy and policy for the 7 most neglected tropical diseases worldwide, which people don't know, and they affect about 1 in 5 people worldwide. So it was really exciting to get that going here. We had some great speakers, some great presentations. Unfortunately, we did have to dissolve the student program simply because we were under the Sabin Vaccine Institute, which I know many people are familiar with in DC. But the Sabin Vaccine Institute rearranged a lot of their departments. Thankfully, there's another student organization here called One Health Group, and I was a vice president of that this year. And so a lot of our students who are part of N7 merged with One Health. And what One Health is it combines human health, veterinary medicine, and overall environmental science. And so it's looking at how one cannot exist or thrive without the well-being of another. So we're looking at everything from pollution and its effects on human health, and extinction of one animal and its effect on the environment and human health. So it's really interesting because it's a lot of students that come together from all departments of Tulane. So I was excited to be a part of that this year.
Well, it sounds like you do have a lot of acquired skills at this point. Do you think that you find that makes you more employable in the job market?
Oh, yes. If you told me all the things I was going to learn 2 years ago when I first got here, all the things I know now, I would be blown away. So a lot of the things from just research and data and, actual tropical diseases and understanding good practices within public health, global health, things like that. Unbelievable. And it's been a fun time too, because it's New Orleans. So yeah.
Okay, so the 7 biggest diseases you've never heard of. Can you tell me what they are?
Yes. Okay. Hookworm, roundworm, whipworm, trachoma, onchocerciasis, schistosomiasis, and lymphatic filariasis, otherwise known as elephantiasis. So.
Well, there you go, Facebook. 7 biggest diseases you've never heard of. Well, thank you, Mallory. I really enjoyed our time today, and I hope you have found this informative, and I hope to have another interview with you later on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today, Facebook friends. Bye-bye.